It's times like these you give and give again. It's times like these you learn to love again. It's times like these, time and time again. I'm a new day rising. I'm a brand new sky to hang stars upon tonight. I'm a little divided. Do we stay or run away? Leave it all behind. It's times like these you learn to live again. It's times like these you give and give again. It's times like these you learn to love again. It's times like these, time and time again. It's times like these learn to live again. It's times like these you give and give again. It's times like these you learn to love again. It's times like these, time and time again.
Time, picks his moment, and the score comes, and Wesley are flying early on.
Times like these indeed. We're live here from Old Wesley Rugby Club in Donnybrook, Dublin 4. Welcome everybody for today's AIL semi-final between Old Wesley and Naas. Again, this is a rivalry that's developed over the last number of years here in AIL 1B. So we hope you enjoy today's stream with us. Again, like a good wine can be made excellent when you're in very good company, and today I'm in the excellent company of two very, very good people, Stuart McAvoy and Alan Lewis, who are going to take you through commentary today. So I'll hand you over to those gentlemen now. Alan, Stuart, how are you?
Tom, we're very good. We're waiting with eager anticipation for this semi-final. As you say, two great rivalries. They play for the Stephen Mooney Cup. I don't know whether they're going to be playing for that today, but I schooled and played my rugby with Stephen. Obviously tragically killed in a car accident. Wonderful hooker. Played in an under-19 final with me here, Stuart, would you believe, in all of 1982. But we're all waiting with, as I say, eager anticipation. It's a classic clash with Wesley, who've really been the outstanding side in this division, but it's a semi-final, Stuart.
Yeah, it's great to be back here at Donnybrook here with Alan. Can't wait for this game, as you say, and semi-finals. Basically, you just have to go over the line, Alan, don't you?
Well, the interesting thing in over the line, and again in conditions, a lot of the games, obviously the surface is very good. It's windy today, so I would think what will be very interesting to see how both teams play with the wind. Are they going to waste time and not play a territory game, which is so important when you're playing with that breeze? There's a wee bit of a swirl, but it's going to be one of the interesting points. The other part for me, looking at these two teams, is that middle five. Can Wesley, who look to have that superior middle five of that back row with Pym and obviously that Murphy-Cassidy access at 9 and 10?
Yeah, it is. That battle of 9 and 10 is going to be fascinating. I suppose if you're a Naas fan or even a Naas player, it's really nothing to lose. As you said earlier, Wesley run the league, and like they'll be here to chuck a ball around, but they'll think they can cause an upset today, Alan, won't they?
Well, of course they will. Like in any semi-final, you've got that. You've got a man of nearly 90 caps playing for Connacht at 12. Wonderful goal kicker. Captain Peter Osborne also the same. Been around for a long, long time. And it's only interesting when you look at some of the players that they have on the bench that you begin to realise what sort of a challenge they may give Wesley today. But you would certainly think Wesley are going in as hot favourites, and there is the team.
Yep, I'll run you through the Naas team. Adam Coyle, John Sutton and Peter King in that front row. Pretty tight front three. Then the engine room, Paul Monaghan and Patrick O'Flaherty. Back row, Killian Dempsey, Will O'Brien, and spearheading from number 8 is Ryan Casey. The 9 and 10, as we just talked about, Brian Croke at 10, Tim Murphy at 9. Then left wing, Sam Cahill. Centre partnership, with experience of Craig Rawlinson, the Connacht man, former Connacht man. Outside centre, Gary Kavanagh. Then the pace of Donald Conroy, and at 15, the points machine, Peter Osborne. On the benches, Connor Johnson and Jack Barry. Connor Doyle in the front. Row replacements, David Ben and Paulo Tolafu, a big carrier in that back row. Connor Halfpenny, Matt Stapleton, and the pace of Fionn Higgins if needed on the bench. And Alan, you want to run through the home team?
Yes, I will. You've got that very strong front row of Noonan and Burns. Burns has been outstandingly consistent this season. Cronin, Gleeson, JJOD. Last time we were at the home venue, had probably a quiet match. A very big, influential player. Great stealer in the Jackal. Good line of man. Captain Ian McGann, of course. Line out certainty there. Josh Pym at 7 has been outstanding, but that middle 5, Ben Murphy at scrum half, led from the front. Cassidy, wonderful boot on him, kicks his goals, beautiful striker of a ball. James O'Donovan has been really impressive with Deegan in the middle, but for me, it's the access of that back 3. Poff, Malloy and Thompson attacking the right-hand side of the field have been out. Some wonderful tries been scored here by those two. And the final piece really is that list of replacements. Byrne, Kenny, Young, they've used them very successfully this season, increasing this injection of energy and excitement. Holborn, Short, Mackenzie Monaghan and Charlie O'Regan. So we're set fair for a wonderful game of rugby here at Energia Park. It's the AIL 1B semi-final between two cracking teams, as we said earlier, with great rivalry.
Thank you, Alan, and thank you, Stuart. We'll just pause for a brief moment for a message from some of our sponsors. Again, a huge thank you there to our sponsors, Savills and Sonica. Without them, we couldn't bring you these streams live every week. Before today's game, we'll be pausing for a moment's silence to remember two great members of Old Wesley who have passed away recently, Dick Stafford and George Wallace. Dick, who was an ever-present fixture at all AIL games, as many know, he was instrumental in developing the modern bar here and the social setup within Old Wesley. Our thoughts at this very difficult time are with his wife Jane, his sons Craig, Simon, his daughter Joanne, and his extended family and friends. Dick will be sadly missed by all in Old Wesley. And of course, also the moment's silence will be for George Wallace, who passed away recently too. George is known to all as one of the most skillful forwards to have Old Wesley who have ever produced, who went on to represent the club at the highest level, playing for both Leinster and Ireland A, and was very unfortunate not to have gained a full Irish cap back in the day when full Irish caps were very, very hard to get. Also a very talented soccer player in summer leagues around Dublin, as many have attested over the last number of weeks. After retiring, George played and coached some of the Old Wesley junior sides and also went on to coach Leinster for some time. Our thoughts are with his wife Jenny, his daughter Susan, and his son Stephen, who proudly went on to follow his dad's footsteps and joining the Wesley team, and of course with the wider Wallace family, who are part of the fabric here in Old Wesley. Ardesh Goreva Yanam. Alan, I know you've some fond memories of George yourself.
Yeah, wonderful guy, George. My abiding memory of George is pint of Smithwick's in one hand, cigarette in the other, constant smile on his face, and obviously a wonderfully loyal Old Wesley member. And of course that famous cup-winning team that he was part of. It was one way for George, and it was straight through the middle, a bulk, a heavy man, and played at representative level well, which is absolutely wonderful. But it's always very sad when we lose someone close to us like that. And of course Dick, who was the face of the bar, always ever welcoming, no different to Michael here. And our thoughts, Stuart, go out to both families at these very difficult times when you lose someone close to you.
Yeah, I echo Tom and Alan's thoughts there. Very sad passing of both members of the club, and they'll be sadly missed. Alan, if we turn to the action today, we've noticed there's a bit of wind out there. It's going to be interesting who plays with in the first half and how that affects the game, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very interesting. There's a lot of teams that like to play against the wind in the first half. I often wonder in these particular matches, it's often how you decide to play, and a lot of times teams can waste territory if they're playing with a breeze. It's always very important to get down and choose your angles well. Make sure you use open field. You could get a lot of big. Cassidy is a very big clearer of the ball. He could move it from 122 to another, of course. And again, we've got the 50-20, if you don't forget that, which is an amazingly useful tool for the tactical nature of your kicking game.
Definitely is. And here come Old Wesley in front of what is a cracking crowd. Great to see so many fans down here at Energy Park. Unbelievable stuff, Alan, isn't it? Look, there must be at least hundreds, if not a few, through the gate.
Well, I think it's a tribute to the AIL. It's a wonderful competition. I refereed it for many years, and often I'd be asked, well, why are you doing these games? I loved the AIL. It is the fabric of Irish rugby and always will be. I've thoroughly enjoyed the games that we've been together here and watched, Stuart. I think the standard is really, really excellent, and I've really enjoyed it. But quite rightly, we're having a minute's silence in memory of two great Old Wesley men.
Yes, just about to get underway here as we see Naas in that huddle. Wesley just fanning out, getting ready to go. Special word in the referee, Stuart Gaffigan, former Methodist College man, done very well in the referee ranks, Alan.
Yes, he's been around a long time, Stuart. I've watched him many times, and I'm sure he will be doing a good job today. Most important thing is in any of your big worlds of refereeing is that you get the big decisions right. Try scoring, penalty decisions, they're the big things that you need to do. Let the game flow. Try and work with the teams as much as you can, and I've seen Stuart a number of times, and I think if the game opens out, he'll certainly relish that.
Yes, he will indeed.
And hopefully we keep 30 players on the field, Stuart. Obviously professional rugby is now a dog. I think last week there was 10. There was certainly a vast number of red cards and a number of sightings. Of course, in my sighting capacity, it does really kill me, the amount of head contact in professional rugby at the moment. But hopefully not today.
Well, on that positive note, Naas will get us underway. And away we go in this playoff tie. Wesley through their centre. Owen Deegan collects and carries. Wesley just looking to set up a few early phases. Make sure they get this early exit right. Murphy just getting his men where he wants them as he goes into this afternoon sky in D4. Naas with their first chance to show what they're all about, and they will have a penalty, so a chance for Naas to settle it all down.
Took us 2 minutes. We have a little high shot as the first penalty, quite rightly penalised by Stuart Gaffigan there. Just a loose arm and high, and that should settle Naas down here.
Early missed touch, I was going to say, but in the end it's actually a cracking kick by Ronaldson. That just shows how much experience and how good he is off that left foot.
Well, I think it's so important. Often you find with these touch finds, for me, they don't really garner the distance that they should, but on that occasion it didn't look the greatest of kicks, I have to say, Stuart, but it got there. Maybe the effects of that breeze we were talking about earlier. So it's the first line out of the match. Naas with the throw in on the 22.
Sutton goes to the banker ball, and they go off the top. Well picked up by the Naas player. Murphy uses the big carriers on the shoulder. Slow ball, cut out ball, and Naas, what a flying start. They're in for the first try. We've hardly had a chance to sit down home. That's the away team that go in front.
Well, it was a long pass from right to left. It was a risk pass. It could have gone either way. And Wesley, very narrow in defence, left the gap. And what a start for Naas.
Yeah, it was a great cut-out ball from Tim Murphy. And they just strike where the iron's hot, didn't they?
Absolutely. And it's interesting too to see the kicking duties are with Peter Osborne. But what a start for Naas. And that will certainly shake up the league leaders in this, but as we spoke about earlier, semi-finals are semi-finals, and a real start for Naas. This lift them with confidence. But it was a high-risk pass, Stuart, and again, in any of these sorts of areas where you've got these narrow defences, if you can get outside it, these are the sorts of things that can happen.
They are indeed. As we see, the Naas talisman and fullback Peter Osborne look to add the extras in this wind. Tricky enough oil conversion. Let's see what he's got in his locker.
An interesting one with Peter Osborne. His fiancée used to work with me, Roisin Kane. I hope she's tuning in from Singapore. If you are, Roisin, send us a text. And it's normal service resumed for your fiancée. Peter Osborne adds the two.
Yeah. Well, there'll be a smile on her face tuning in and a smile on his as that sailed through the uprights. And Naas, 7 points to the good, and really bit of silence so far, but plenty, obviously. 77 minutes to go out, but Wesley will want to get back in the game.
Important he's taken the upper hand. He's here in Old Wesley today and not in Singapore.
Restart taken. Dempsey the man. And Naas go again. Looking to keep it tight. Tim Murphy. Spill there from Wesley, and Naas will have the advantage. They will have numbers. They just need a scrum half. This time they use the outside men as Murphy gets back up.
Harry Noonan somewhat lucky there not to be offside at the last ruck, but nice progress moving forward. Non-release in the tackle there from Wesley, and they really are going to have to settle down a wee bit here. Naas in the ascendancy, certainly up for this game.
That was the first time we see the access there of Croke and Rawlinson. Rawlinson, such a big ball carrier as well, can pretty much do everything. I know we've spoken about playing professional rugby, but he's only 32 and he's still out there and proving a real focal point of this Naas team.
Well, the other interesting thing, Stuart, is when they move from right to left, to have that inside centre with the left foot is massively important when you're looking to stretch teams. And he will be pivotal today for Naas. Craig Ronaldson, of course, spent a number of years with Connacht, and I'm sure is passing on all those words of wisdom from his professional days. And of course his father, Tim, a massive strength. Number 8, toughest take was Tim Ronaldson. I'm sure he's here today. I haven't seen him. Tipped off the top. Nice move forward, get it away well.
And they keep it tight once more. They're really looking to go at this Wesley post and pillar. Murphy, it's a big prop this time, as Croak gets himself set at 10. Rawlinson tries to get it back to his number 10. Does. The bouncing ball. Murphy once more. Still there for the number 9. It's all Naas at the moment. Rawlinson, rather speculative dummy, and a turnover comes, but illegally so by Stuart Gaffigan, so he says, and Naas have another chance to put more points on the scoreboard.
Well, the Wesley captain McGann, he was on the ground there. When you're on the ground, you're out of the game. Stuart Gaffigan judging that he palmed it back with his hand. It's something you've got to be very careful about. So lots of early penalties, and certainly Naas starting superbly well here. Wesley really haven't got into the game so far, and you can sense that around the stands here. Lots of Wesley support, but Naas really putting it up to the league leaders in this semi-final of Division 1B. So it's Peter Osborne again, wonderful striker of the ball, as is Cassidy for Old Wesley.
Yes, Osborne over 200 points this season for Naas. Very impressive. And I'll put the old commentator's curse on, because I say this is a banker, 3 points. We shall see how he goes. And there you go, never in doubt. Straight over the clubhouse anyway. What a strike, as you said. Really is a brilliant striker of the ball.
Obviously, the match is only 7.5 minutes old, and Wesley already down by 10 points, and that's not going to help either. Straight out in the full from Cassidy, and it was a long way out in the full, Stuart.
I think it's pretty much fair to say on everything that has gone wrong for Wesley has in this opening 8 minutes. So unlike them. I suppose there's nerves, semi-final nerves.
It's very interesting momentum. Wesley went down to Shannon 2 weeks ago with a weakened side, got hit by 50. So much of this game was momentum. I always remember at professional level when Warren Gatland was coaching Wasps, he never wanted to finish top of the log. He always wanted a semi-final before he went into the final. I remember them rampaging over Gloucester when Gloucester had won the league by 15 points. They hadn't played rugby for 3 weeks, and they were always on the go. He feels rugby, and it is true, it's a game of momentum. You've just got to be playing.
Naas have the free kick, and they're looking to keep the pace on this ball and keep going. Good tackle there. Tim Murphy once more. Rawlinson tries to put that dink in behind. Now, can Wesley settle themselves?
Apart from the kickoff, this is the first time they've really had the ball. Away well from Murphy to Cassidy.
And there's runners outside Cassidy. Here he is again, getting instructions on. Goes for a cut-out ball. It's a great ball. Back inside to Murphy, but it is forward. Stuart Gaffigan was right in the spot, but it just shows, okay, it was forward, but they can hit you like that.
Yeah, wonderful invention. Brilliant pass by Cassidy. Off on the hoof, and he just couldn't get the left hand over to get that pass backwards. Gaffigan, as you say, right level, and was able to make the decision quickly without going to the bloody television match official. We don't need any of that. Get yourself level as a referee. Make the decision.
Yeah, Tom, no doubt next year we'll have the old TMO under the system, I'd say. So a restart, another good place for Naas to attack from. Better from Wesley though.
Much, much better. First piece of opportunism they've shown, but they just haven't had the ball, Stuart. So Tim Murphy, gotta be careful, both nines called Murphy.
Oh, you don't see this much. One against the head. Cassidy, what will they do? Use their big centre. James O'Donovan, absolute powerhouse.
Oh, what a tackle on the gain line.
Don't see that much.
That just says it all, really, of where Naas are at the moment. What an outstanding tackle that was on the gain line. Not quite sure. It's quite difficult to see the numbers on those Hoop Naas jerseys.
It was Josh Pym that was hit back, Alan. You don't see that much from a Pym, do you?
Very rarely. And these are moments in rugby matches when you reflect, you look back. These are the things you saw his teammates all around him, galvanised. And I'm telling you now, Wesley, no, they're in a contest here without a shadow of a doubt.
You can just tell it's going to be a cracking game. You can.
Well, it's been very good so far, Stuart. Very much enjoyed it.
Murphy, Wesley again. Get the old wheel, is that what they say in the dark arts?
Well, the dark arts, yes, it used to be called the wheel, but, you know, now they have this great phrase, you took it around the corner. Wesley are going to have to be very careful here, particularly on a nice put-in. I think whenever you're doing that, you need to be very careful as the non-putting in team that if the wheel comes, it's very gradual. The minute it starts getting quickly, it tends to be an easy one for the referee. It's an easy penalty to give, and they're the sorts of things you want to cut out.
Coyle, Sutton and King against Noonan, Burns and Gleeson. Interesting matchups all about the park.
You know a wee bit about Adam Coyle?
Yes, up the Leinster representative system. Pretty good old player, Alan. Been about the block. He's getting it tight in there though. But he does well in the end. And Rawlinson tries to pull it back to Croak. But again, that old Leinster loop, as they say, doesn't quite work. That's a couple of times I've tried that. Functioning not quite.
Well, it's a wee bit of a Leinster and Ireland ploy that, but it's that soft pass at the end that someone's coming onto in a straight line which they haven't quite mastered. But it's probably the first mistake we've seen from Naas so far in the match. What we'd call an unforced error. So Wesley in a good attacking position here. They've split themselves.
Who's your money on? The pacey Alex Malloy to get this from first receiver, Alan, or what are you thinking?
Well, Malloy, who's been outstandingly consistent for Wesley all season, he hasn't touched the ball yet in the match, but I think I sense he might be touching it right now.
No doubt he'll have his time. Again, good from Wesley. Ball at the feet of Ruben Pym. Murphy goes the short side. In behind, here's Cassidy, and away they go. David Poff back inside to Murphy, and what a try that is from old Wesley. Bang, and they hit you and they score. Brilliant rugby all round.
Fantastic try that by Wesley. The initial space was made by the outstanding Malloy, and again wonderful precision. Murphy on the inside to take the pass and Poff. He got the first one wrong, of course, just about a few moments ago. Not this time. Wonderful try from old Wesley, and that will give them a bit of relief from a very shaky beginning. And I see David German, stalwart of the club, water boy, anxious look on his face after that start.
What about that positive line from Ben Murphy? The old man will be proud. You were speaking to him before, but that's what all good nines do. They're there on the shoulder getting tries.
Well, again, he's been excellent for Wesley this season. Passes very well, gets the ball away quickly, and as you say, being in there on that inside line, DuPont-esque.
Another man who's been excellent for Wesley is Ian Cassidy. And talk about excellent. I called it early, and how good's that from the number 10?
Well, it could have been a wee bit of commentator's curse, but from a very difficult angle, tricky breeze, stroked it like a beautifully manicured Rory McIlroy, 320-yard boom with a bit of draw. Beautiful bit of work that from Ian Cassidy.
So, two good tries early on. Great game so far. Wesley delighted to get back in this match. Again, straight to Owen Deegan.
He'd want to be careful with that leading arm, Stuart, but he was quite passive.
first real sight of Cronin Gleeson there. Here is the try scorer himself, Ben Murphy. Back to the bread and butter of the box kick.
Oh, they look offside, yes indeed.
And talk about turning momentum, the try, then the penalty, yes, early on, but big moments in the game so far.
Always an unlucky one there, really. King had no chance there. The ball knocked on from the high kick. He was in front and, of course, gathered. Seems like a very difficult penalty. You always remember that Lions game. 15-all.
What did the ref say? We make a deal? I'm not sure about that, but there you go.
No. Jérôme Gasset said to Romain Poit, he said, you want the match to finish like this? It is crazy. Let's do it the French way.
Back to Donnybrook. Yeah. And the Energy Stadium.
Poor old New Zealanders. I felt so sorry for them.
I echo your words, right. So, Wesley and Ben Burns. First line out in the attacking 22, and what a take that is. And they get it set. Back to Burns. The juggernaut trundles on. One out runner so far. Murphy. Ball just slips out of Owen Deegan's hand. And Naas, they looking to go from here, Alan?
Good advantage played by Stuart Gaffigan there. Anytime, big knock on in particular, but they'll have to clear their lines. And they will. And I'm sure Stuart Gaffigan will go to the line out, and indeed he does. Good refereeing there from Stuart Gaffigan.
Just maybe forced it there, Wesley, in that time.
Well,
but it's better from them, and they're looking more sharper.
The only thing about Deegan there was he didn't get the hands ahead of the tackle. And again, it was forced, but I think it's the wise and right thing to do. You've got to take risks. Deegan is a very, very powerful runner. He can break tackles, look for the gap, hit the hole, and get the back of the hand offload. Just didn't come off on this O'Donovan knocking on.
Burns again. What a line out that is. And he's straight in there. He's got the hand up. He's having a look, but at the moment he's telling his forwards to go. Now Burns goes, just doesn't want to get isolated. Good defending from Peter King. Cassidy smashed back in the tackle, but again, penalty this time for Wesley, and they could have a chance to corner or post to get back to an even game, but we should just see.
Wee bit of argy-bargy, James, that have no need really to be coming in there at all from 35 yards when Wesley have the penalty. That sort of nonsense really does annoy me, Stuart, I have to say. Trying to be the big boy when there's no need to be the big boy. And if you're watching James in the replay, I wouldn't be doing it again.
Point taken. He's a big lad as well. So
sounding like a referee, am I?
He used to be good fun, Al. Stuart Gaffigan just having a word with his official there.
I'm intrigued what it's about, actually, because originally it was for the taking down of the maul. So I don't quite know whether it was for the, potentially above the horizontal tackle. I'm sure it's not. Although I'm thinking otherwise now. No, he's obviously doing it for the taking down of the maul, which was the correct. Oh, he's talking about a high tackle. Certainly that seems the signal. Didn't seem anything high to me, but there we are. Who am I to know?
Don't know. You only had a few years at it, but sure. Now, third time lucky for Wesley. Their line-out's been very good. They've always hit their man, so let's hope for their sake they go again.
Well, that's what I was saying. Ben Burns, he's been ever consistent throughout the season, and as you say, his line-out throwing has been stellar. And he's on the money again.
It's stellar, and here he goes. But Naas defend it well. Burns, just like a couple of minutes ago, goes himself. Are their hands in there? Wesley do well. Big second row, JJOD. Murphy. The dummy. And Cronin has it out the back door. Lovely rugby into the hands of Deegan. Pressure on Naas. Wesley just need a bit of composure. Murphy looks left, goes right. And they're close. And they're over, I think. They are indeed. The power and the drive. And Wesley get their second score, and they're in front.
Yes, indeed. Looks to be Cronin Gleeson barging his way over there. And Wesley certainly have settled now much more after a very shaky beginning.
Alan, just something I've picked up there and something you might look at the lineouts. It seems to be that Wesley aren't quite getting the jumper down, and Naas are putting a little jack underneath it. It's very interesting. It's something that's really picked up if it's a dominant lineout. I think it'll be something to watch later on in the game if Stuart picks up on it.
Well, again, a lot of the time what you used to see was this one-man tackle where you didn't have them all formed. So again, it's a matter of judgment for Stuart Gaffigan, but very well pointed out. It's the sort of thing that you would watch for quite vigilantly. But the other thing, Tom, is of course that assister in the jump getting in front of the ball catcher. We've seen a lot of penalties for that in professional rugby this season. But Wesley have certainly settled down now and have taken a 14-10 lead.
They have indeed. Second conversion of the afternoon for Ian Cassidy. Much easier than the first, but he put it through the sticks. And Wesley, after, as you say, that shaky start, it just shows 10 minutes later they're back at it.
Well, you see the other interesting thing there as well from Teagan, that offload which allowed Gleeson get the momentum, get things moving. I didn't think he'd get there on his own, but he was able to swivel and get over the line. But
he's a big boy, isn't he?
He is a big boy, but I'm a massive fan of this risk and reward. Oh, that looks very high to me. Indeed it is. He was a little bit...
And you can tell by the crowd's reaction, tackle on Owen Deegan was high. And Wesley have a penalty, so another easy out for them.
I think I'd just go with the penalty here, Stuart. I hope there's he's going for the card. Okay, who am I to judge? Who am I to judge?
You were right on cue there.
Because obviously he had given, which I didn't think it was for, a high tackle down here, but perhaps on balance, Stuart Gaffigan knows more than I do.
Well, you said it, not me. And Naas will be down to 14 for the next 10 minutes, so there'll be more space for Wesley to attack out. Ben Burns just getting a few words from Harry Noonan right in front of us here. And for the first time today, he doesn't hit his man, and John Sutton comes away with it. Murphy to Croak, good cut-out ball. What a match, 13 on 13. Kavanagh against James O'Donovan. Naas look to go quickly. Stuart Gaffigan's not going to let it happen because he wants to get this game back under control. This doesn't look good.
Now the interesting thing there was James O'Donovan, and again it's a risk, and we've seen this time and time again, this upright tackling. He seems to have done more damage to himself. I certainly don't think there was head contact there, but it's just so risky that you can potentially lose a player when there was absolutely no need for him to go high at that stage. Clear line of sight, 5 meters of vision to make a lower tackle. He chose not to, so who knows what that conversation between Stuart Gaffigan and his fellow touch judge is.
Let's hope for both players' sake they're both okay. They're both getting treated. At least they're sitting upright anyway, Alan. But these are collisions, as you said before the game. You said cards are going to happen in this game, but just collisions do need to get lower if we want to get more sensible rugby, I would say.
Well, I just think it's a blight on the game, and you know, we've seen it, and obviously now they're even considering 20-minute sendings off, and another player can come back. What sort of message is that sending?
What I will say, Alan, is just looking at it, what I do admire is the referee and the touch judge are allowed to have their conversation there. Unlike the pro game, there's not players going in trying to influence the decision, which you must give a credit to the AIL for not doing that.
True, but of course that sort of thing, Tom, I think is very much in the referee's hands, and again it's the sort of thing that you don't want to see. Perhaps in the context of things, what way they thought about that, but James Donovan, he needs to learn. You've got to go lower than that, or you're going to face that type of consequence. So in effect, if you think about it, it's one each for high shots.
Exactly, and Wesley just had one extra man for about a minute there, and they're both down to 14, so again it's an even game really. And Naas Their fullback, Peter Osborne, is just deciding what to do. In the end, he fancies himself. He says, I'll try and take the 3 points, get it back to a 1 point game into this win, but you wouldn't put it past him, Alan.
Again, we've got two wonderful strikers of a rugby ball on the pitch. 25 minutes in now, and really nothing between the teams. Naas with a great start. This is an important kick. Every point is important in a semi-final, and both kickers have been on the mark.
So Osborne just inside the 10-metre line, takes one last look at the sticks. Away he goes. Again, it's a good strike, and it's there. He's right on the money. It must be great for a forward pack to look up and see 3 more points in the bag, Alan.
Well, people often underestimate the value. That's 2 penalty kicks and a conversion. 2 conversions, they're so important, particularly actually, and it's often dismissed, obviously a penalty 3 points, but converted tries are massively significant. Much better kickoff from Cassidy there.
Yep, into the hands of Will O'Brien in that red scrum hat. And the old green and white of Naas try and get it back, but it's a turnover from Wesley. Can they hit them on the counter? Murphy always looking for that inside ball. Gleeson pops it away to Will Fay. Murphy uses Cassidy, the short line. Good running.
It's Poff there. Murphy gets it away again to Fay. To Captain McGann. Driven back in the tackle. Again, sniping as he always does, Murphy at the base of that breakdown. The ever-present pen, Cassidy. JJOD needed to be taking that with more vigor, but he makes good progress.
Murphy once more. This time interesting from Cassidy. Tries to find the corner and does indeed. That's smart rugby from the number 10. Spotted the defensive line up quick, changed the point of attack, and sticks a great kick in behind.
People often underestimate the value of that. That was wonderfully cultured. You don't see it often, the old spiral kick.
Yeah.
Do you remember those old match leather balls? They used to go for miles when you got the spiraling on it, right? Which is not often used in modern rugby anymore, but that ability to be able to curve the ball into touch. Wonderful precision from Cassidy. He's got a gorgeous boot. Right boot on him.
So, just coming up to half an hour, Alan, we've got a bit of a breather here. Your overall assessment, 1 point game, you know, Naas started out very well, Wesley back in it, I suppose showing their class, but still very much anyone's game.
Yeah, I just think the whole thing is around probably composure. Wesley, as they've settled into the game, have just got better. They lost a pivotal line in much the same position we're in now there earlier, having it been so good, commentators curse and all that sort of thing, but you just kind of feel that if Wesley can just ensure their composure, that piece that I spoke about earlier, Murphy has been incredibly instrumental so far,
one thing that's impressed me a lot about Naas is their ability to close down the space that Wesley have. Now, there is one way to counter that, and Wesley, I've noticed the last couple of minutes, are actually trying it. So they're setting up that forward line in front and looking to play in behind to the backs. So that's something that we might see play out over the next few minutes.
Well, here's another one. Very interested to see, do Wesley compete here? And
Sutton.
indeed they don't. A bit softly that. Ryan Casey, who's been very dynamic so far for Naas, the number 8. Very impressive. And that's quality from Naas. Cleared their lines exceptionally well.
Yeah, a very good exit, as you say. Straight off the top, one phase, and straight into touch. Wesley outside their 22. The Naas 22, I should say. That's the Wesley pack just getting their thoughts. Noonan again, straight over to Ben Burns. Burns goes to the front. Well taken, JJOD. Murphy happy to let his forwards on it. Now it does stop, but they're still going. Great work from the white and reds. Murphy pointing, just letting his forwards keep going, and this is unbelievable stuff. Finally has hit the deck, and they go themselves one out runners. Murphy leaves it, getting closer. Where is that ball? Penalty to Wesley,
yeah,
but that's pressure and pressure.
It was clear, Naas clearly off their feet there. And Gaffigan saying they're leaning on, not supporting their own body weight. And the captain's been called out again.
Must be 3 or 4 times in this half. Peter Osborne and Stuart Gaffigan must be getting on rightly.
Well, Peter, where are we going for a drink tonight? Come on, let's get on with the game.
Are they just pulling that maul down? Is that because obviously if they don't, they're under their sticks?
Well, potentially, yes. I think the only thing about it was the dynamic of it appeared to me as if Wesley went to ground, but they'd made 20 metres in that time, and it looks as if again Cassidy is going to go for the corner, it appears. So Wesley certainly feel with that line out and maul ascendancy that the opportunity of 7 outweighs the certainty of 3.
Well said, Alan Lewis. Great delivery. But got to hit their line out.
Hard to look up at our screen here to think 28 minutes gone already, Stuart. We really are enjoying ourselves.
We are indeed. Plenty of histories between these two sides. A couple of years ago they played, balled it out in another playoff, 2019. Wesley the winners that day, so they want to do it again.
They certainly will. It does seem hard, doesn't it, Stuart, in a league campaign where you win it by a country mile, that you've got to bring yourself to the spectre of a semi-final and then the potential of a final. But of course, if you were in 4th place, you wouldn't be saying that. Don't quite know what the situation here is for Ryan Casey.
Yeah, Paulu Tolafua, yeah.
Shoulder problem.
Paulu Tolafua. Big powerhouse is coming on for Naas. Big destructive ball carrier.
I trust a Samoan.
No comment. So Cassidy boots it in to the corner, and Wesley will have a 5-metre line out. Burns. Well done again from Wesley. Back to the hooker. And they try their best to get the rumble going, and here they go. It's all Wesley at the moment. Brought down, good defence from Naas. Murphy, scrappy ball. It's gone back. As Cronin Gleeson tries to get his knees to ground, does indeed. The carrier and JJOD, they're getting ever closer. But as soon as I say that, they're in the side. Big moments, a turnover and a penalty to Naas.
Well, that's sloppy from Wesley, really having made those hard yards, OD, the vital 2 metres. Wesley straight in the side.
So there's a bit of confusion here, I think, with Naas coach Johnny Murphy and a player coming on off the pitch, Alan. Quite interesting this. You don't see much this.
I believe the term is agitated, Stuart.
He looks very agitated, Johnny Murphy. Feels that his player has been off the pitch far too long. Cries of 12 minutes.
Donald Conroy it is.
Pitch for that last line out, so that's another infringement, bringing a player back on early before they were asked to come back on. So they had 15 on for that last line out. This could be an interesting chat.
Well, I don't quite know who the 4th and 5th officials are. They're generally from the clubs concerned, so again, in any of these circumstances, rules are for the guidance of the wise and the obedience of the stupid. So if we've got the guts of 10 minutes, I think we do the sensible thing. Let's get on with it.
But Johnny Murphy, he's right in the touch judge and now Stuart Gaffigan's face. Bit of a heated discussion there, Alan.
Number 15 on the pitch.
Johnny Murphy very agitated down there. Not a happy man. The Naas coach.
Back to the rugby, and John Sutton. And he goes to the back. Good take. That time, Will O'Brien. I'm pretty impressed with him so far. He's a wary old back row. Tim Murphy is taking his time. Good fizz off that pass from the number 9.
Burns tackles well low too. And again, not the greatest at kicks.
Howling wind. O'Brien fighting tooth and nail for that ball. But a penalty to Naas. There's been plenty of penalties in this first half, Alan, hasn't there?
It's been a wee bit of a dorking shot. I don't know what it is this time. Not quite sure.
And we still wait for Donald Conroy to come back on.
Calls of a 16-minute sin bin from Johnny Murphy. Still very agitated.
I think we may need some throat lozenges for Stewart at half time. He's doing a lot of talking in the first half.
Yeah, but he's handled it pretty well, Stuart Gaffigan. Sutton looking for a green and white man, and there he is as the hooker gets back in to the maul, and this time it's Naas' turn to try and get it going. Tim Murphy happy to let Sutton make his way through this Wesley pack, but they do stop it. Tolafua, and there is the line. Fine.
Good tackle by Deegan in the middle of the field.
Yeah, on Gary Kavanagh. Paul Monaghan that time does pretty well. Murphy in behind, and they have numbers, and away come Naas with the width. Sam Cahill just had to stop that. Wesley trying to get hands on that ball. Tim Murphy still has it, and the substitute Tolafua back inside. But Wesley read that like a book. Still there for Naas.
Oh,
another high challenge, but we're okay. Osborne comes into the line, and there is the wide ball. 1-on-1. So just coming towards this end of the first half. Big moments. Still there. Peter King picking up the scraps. And the penalty comes, and you can see the passion from Owen Deegan there with a fist pump. He's happy with what his forwards did there at the breakdown.
Faye looking in a bit of difficulty there. James Donovan makes his way back onto the field. A lot of commotion on the sidelines, Stuart.
Temperature in the stadium is certainly going to be a little bit hotter.
16 minutes. What was the reason? Why was it so long?
Johnny Murphy having words like scenes at Welford Road, where of course he plied much of his trade.
And a bit of Thomond as
Always
well.
a bit of trouble at Welford Road, you'd have.
Yeah. Wouldn't be shy of a couple of words, as we've just heard there, Alan. I think you were getting a few pelters from him.
Well, Leicester, they always liked a bit of the rinky-dink. I had the game against the Ospreys where they had 16 on the field at one stage. So he's well used to it, is Johnny.
Well, maybe that's his comeuppance, because he's only had 14 on for 6 less minutes or so.
It's been a wee bit stop-start over the last 15 minutes, hasn't it?
Naas intercepted the line out. The ball squeezes forward on Wesley. Well on the attack through Ruben Pym, but again there was hands in there. Geez, that would have been a fine effort from the number 8, but I think, Alan, there were hands in there.
I'm not so sure.
So you think it was fair game?
I think it kind of squared it out. The Naas player was trying to get it back. Obviously, Stuart Gaffigan was on the other side. Whether he got a call from his touch judge, I'm not sure. But we're not to know as Peter Osborne makes his way forward, and I would be thinking he might be considering a kick at goal. But there's more and more chat going on, which certainly we don't need.
So Ruben Pym has been denied a 60-metre dash. What a finish that would have been. As Craig Rawlinson looks up, pumps it deep into this Wesley 22.
There's an interesting choice, Stuart. Osborne has kicked 3 absolute nuts sweetly. Admittedly, I know there's a minute and a half to go. They haven't necessarily been that dynamic with the maul, Naas. Would you take your points at that point?
I'm just here to speak, Alan. Doesn't matter what I think, but I always respect the 3.
I'm asking you your thoughts.
I'm all about the 3. I'm all about the 3.
Semi-finals.
Sutton goes to the tail. What a take that is, as Tolafua, the big powerful back row, comes on the crash. And the carry comes again from Naas. They fancy their chances here. And the switch back inside. Croak pulling the strings at number 10. And they have the advantage. Murphy goes to short side. He's looking for options. Carriers over the gain line, and the penalty comes. So another chance we shall see. You talked about taking the 3. I would say they'll go corner again, Alan, but who knows?
It's going to be very interesting now.
A few words there from Ian McGann.
I just get the sense they're going to go for the corner again. So here we are. It's probably going to be the last play of the half.
They're deciding, as you say, is it... Oh!
There you go.
Respect the 3.
Respect the 3. Stuart McAvoy right again.
Into the red at half-time.
Of course, we can sit down for our glorious cup of sugar and tea now. I'm sure that Wesley will provide at half-time.
I'd say both coaches need a bit of sugar and tea. What do you think?
Johnny Murphy won't. He's been very hot for the last 15 minutes. Talking about a 16-minute sin bin, but I'm sure he's calmed down at this stage.
He certainly will if they go kick this and go into half-time in front. It's been a good first 40 for Naas. Wesley have hung in rightly. Peter Osborne, as he's done all season, slotted kicks time and time again. Of course, one of the main reasons why Naas are in these playoffs. So, to put Naas in front 16-14 at half-time. Their fullback and captain. And he has done just that. Brilliant from the 15. And I think that is half-time, isn't it, Alan?
It certainly is. Exhibition of goal kicking from Peter Osborne.
Yeah.
Such a topsy-turvy game. Nice starting the half so well. 10-point lead, Wesley coming back. 2 converted tries. And just weren't precise enough. And again, that little bit of intensity from Naas just before half-time yielded that kick a goal. And they lead 16-14 at the break. And it's going to be a fascinating second half.
It is indeed. Second half coming up. All to play for. 16-14, as Alan says.
Thank you, Alan, and thank you, Stuart, as you take your little halftime break there. Just to remind everybody, today is the first of 3 streams that we're putting on here in Old Wesley today. We will be streaming the Thirds Cup final at 6:30, and before that we'll be streaming the Fifths Cup final against Tala. So again, thanks for joining today in this festival of rugby here in Old Wesley. We're going to take a brief pause and hear a word from our sponsors. Again, a huge thank you to our sponsors. Without them, we would not be able to bring you these streams for free week in, week out here from Old Wesley. And again, you know, just a reminder, later on we will be kicking off at 4:25 with the Winters Cup final, where the Fifths will be playing Tala, their first team, and then at 6:30 we will have the O'Connell Cup final between our Thirds and Lansdowne's Thirds. Again, all links are on oldwesley.ie, so you can catch those streams. We'll be shutting the stream down after. I'll be going and grabbing a quick coffee, and then we'll be starting back up again. So again, bear with us, and we'll be back with Alan and Stuart in the second half very soon. Again, a huge thank you to all of our sponsors: Savills, Sonica, Arcus, Shorescale, Spirit, Maples, Lockton, HW. Without their support, Wesley, we could not be doing this today. We're not long to go here before the second half, and the only way I can describe the first half so far, and I'm sure the gents will probably allude to this when we come back, it is most definitely a typical Naas Old Wesley game. It's close, it's fiery, it's contentious. There's been a few cards, there's been a few penalties. Not that these teams don't respect each other, but there's also a very, very healthy rivalry between them over the last 3 or 4 years. And again, the last time we played in the semi-final of the AIL Division 1B, it took 100 minutes of rugby to decide the winner. We're just about to come back here for the second half, so I'll hand you over to our esteemed commentators, Alan Lewis and Stuart McAvoy.
So here we are, all set and ready to go, Stuart. Second half, Naas leading 16-14, and probably on balance a fair reflection of the first half as Cassidy drops off.
Away we go. What a take that is. He's been there all day, Will O'Brien. Where's that turned out? I thought it was going to be in old Wesley's hands, but the first penalty of the second half goes to Naas. And a good early starter for them, Alan.
A holding penalty against Wesley, not ideal in that area of the field. Let them have it would be my attitude, as Ronaldson nudges Naas forward.
He's so good at that. He's done that so well in this first half. And as we talked about, the interchanging of the 15 and the 12 kicking, it's such an advantage for Naas, isn't it?
Absolutely. Funny enough, it's something I spoke about before the game. They haven't really used Ronaldson for that. It'll be interesting when he come more and more into the fray.
So Sutton straight up to Patrick O'Flaherty, and Tollifer on the old rampage. Tim Murphy, Ronaldson stepping in, and away Naas go. Hands from Wesley are in there illegally, I think, in the penalty. I'm not sure the crowd agree, Alan. And what are we going to have here again?
James Donovan might be lucky here, and I should say unlucky. It's a yellow card, and he's already on a yellow, and now it's red.
You don't see that too much in the rugby, particularly in playoffs. James O'Donovan, of course, got a yellow, as you say, in the first half, and now he's got another one early in the second. And Wesley have a red card, and they're down to 14 men for the remaining 35 minutes or so. So what a turning point in this game, Alan.
That is massive. And again, when you're on a yellow card, there was no open palm. It looked like a pretty clear-cut decision, with Naas certainly in a pivotal attacking position, and really now Wesley are up against the wall.
I feel for James O'Donovan, he's had a cracking season, and unfortunately for his sake, he's been red carded. And Sutton and his Naas pack have a chance to get the ball rolling in this second half. And it's back with their number 2 in John Sutton. And Naas with the confidence sky high. Murphy. They have numbers. The skip ball, Alex Milloway getting in there and fighting for his team. How well did the fullback do? And Wesley, bit of a get out clause here. Ben Murphy under a bit of pressure, and wind, of course, in his face. What a take that is.
What a fantastic take that was, Stuart.
And Naas go again, of course, have the extra man, so plenty of space. Croak looking for Tollifer, but Pym picks up the pieces in those yellow and golden boots. Murphy, JJOD, good ball presentation. Cassidy looks up, has Faye.
Oh, and they're away here.
Away they go. Wesley playing a bit of jouet. keeping the ball. Cassidy, who's he got?
Flat pass from Cassidy there. Murphy sniping again.
Cassidy once more pulls it back. Good defence from Brian Croak. Shot the line to the number 10. It's Ben Murphy. Says, I'll clear it once more.
The best of kicks, that from Ben Murphy. Playing against whatever breeze that's there. Needs to get it a bit deeper than that. Nothing really to run onto for Wesley there.
The coaches all week, you know, game plans, everything, structures, and then they go down to 14. Like, you just can't predict anything in this game at home. You
can't, but you kind of feel, you know, from an old Wesley perspective, will it galvanise the team? They've just not been as sparky and lively as Naas so far.
So Sutton again, that's spiralling through. And who else but O'Brien? Sutton up the second time asking. Gets his hands on that ball. Tim Murphy wants it. Just about gets it. Does the number 9. He says, I'll go. And there is the inside ball for Rawlinson. Lovely play. And the offload. What rugby that is from Naas. How Rawlinson got that away, I do not know. And Wesley get the try. Naas, I should say, get the score. And Wesley really are stunned.
What a fantastic offload that was from Ronaldson from the floor immediately, finding that support runner, and went in for an excellent try, and really on the balance of play, Stuart, thoroughly deserved.
What play it was from Tim Murphy to snipe himself, and Craig Rawlinson, Sonny Bill-esque, Alan.
Absolutely. But it's just been a feature of the match so far. They've just been able to up the ante from time to time, Naas. They're going to move into a 23-14 lead here, and Wesley are going to have to go deep into the well here if they're to get back into this match.
They are indeed. Meat and drink here for Peter Osborne. Easy as you like. And what did you say? 23 points to 14. Oh, 9-point game, long way back. But Wesley, they'll need to dig deep.
Well, they're going to need to dig very deep, of course, down to 14 players. And 9 points in a semi-final is quite an amount, playing against the elements. And really, if you think about it, 2 poor kicks from Ben Murphy there. Didn't really move any further than maybe 8 or 9 yards. The ball has been palmed back in the eyes of the referee, Stuart Gaffigan.
Tolafu coming more and more into this game.
You've been mentioning that name quite regularly. Tolafu has had a big impact since he's come on.
But this time the penalty goes to Wesley. And that might be the springboard they just need if Cassidy sticks this deep into this Naas 22.
Well, it's been the one aspect in the match. Wesley's maul has been very, very good. And as you say, Cassidy, we've been fooled again.
I've been fooled 3 or 4 times, Alan. I'm not sure about you.
Elected to go for points.
But I suppose they want to keep it within 7-0.
Important kick this for Cassidy in the context of the match. Probably, on hindsight, wise decision.
Yeah, big kick from the number 10. He's played well so far. Let's see if he can keep the momentum going. Big kick from the number 10. You like the look of Cassidy, and he's delivered once again.
Well, the quality of the goal kicking today has been superb, Stuart. from both Cassidy and Osborne. There hasn't been a kick missed.
You're right. What, with 30 minutes or so to go on, could you see Wesley maybe creeping back into this one?
Well, we're going to know a lot in the next 10 minutes as Ronaldson nudges them forward.
A lot of hands in there. Wesley do well to get that back on their side. Murphy, better that time from the number 9. Great trajectory and great hang time there on.
Well, a much better nudge, clearing his lines there clearly. And got a bit more depth on it, which was crucial.
These Wesley wingers, Poff and O'Callaghan, they really get involved in the game, don't they, Al?
Well, the interesting thing is Poff has been very involved in this game. O'Callaghan has been quiet, and he's been a chief try scorer for Wesley this season. He scored some spectacular tries. Good pass there.
Croak. And here he is again. Who is it? Tolofu. Jeez, he must be not a happy man. He's not starting. But he's showing Johnny Murphy what he's all about. Croak once more. Kavanagh looks up and away he goes. Ball still there for Naas, but the forward error comes. Good bit of defence there from Wesley. They looked to be short, obviously because of the extra man, but they found out well there, Alan.
Yes, did well. Puff did well to stay wide there, which was the crucial thing. Let his inside man do the dirty work, which they did, and forced the unforced error from Naas.
Naas make more subs. David Ben coming onto the pitch, so he'll get half an hour or so to show his worth. Of course, there's finals all day here at Wesley. Make sure you're tuning in. I believe a certain Tom will be doing all these finals all afternoon. Mr. Wesley.
Mr. Wesley indeed, Tom. He'll be certainly deserving of a pint after 3 finals, there's no doubt about that. But this vitally important semi-final of Division 1B, Wesley under the cosh here against a very energetic Naas team who've played ever so well. Scrum on the 22, Murphy to feed.
Good scrum from Wesley. But Naas go back at them. Cassidy just had to stall there. Doesn't worry doing that to Ben Murphy, putting pressure on his team. So camped on their own line are Wesley. Naas a bit eager. Important exit for Wesley. Responsibility again falls with their scrum half.
Oh, good tackle, great chase by Malloy it was.
Cahill picks it up for the away team, and they go again. The dummy, and Murphy, away he goes, as easy as you like. Tim Murphy under the sticks, and who knows, that could be curtains for old Wesley. The post and pillar were missing, and Tim Murphy said thank you very much.
Well, Tim Murphy spotted that, as you quite rightly said. Pillar gone, saw the gaping gap, couldn't resist, quick dummy and unopposed from 25 metres. And as you say, Stuart, really that could be a massively damaging turning point for old Wesley here. It's been just an air of lethargy about them. They've never won the collisions at any stage today, and it was proven there.
That is a direct result of the red card, so you could see that Wesley are not committing to rucks now. They're icing them because they don't have the numbers, but in the effort of not committing, they forgot about the pillars. And again, you know, when you go through your setup and your system, you're first in pillar, 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 then I'll get an over it, but because they're icing it now, that rhythm is gone a little bit. That is a direct result of that red card, unfortunately.
Osborne with that golden boot gets Naas up to 30. So 2-score game now Alan, you talk about going to the well. Is there another saying of going to the double well here for Wesley?
Well, the question is, does a double well exist? That's a massive body blow. And again, I'm going to go back to the previous scrum on the 22, Stuart. A scrum where Wesley were in the ascendancy, dilly-dallied with the ball at the number 8's feet, slight wheel, Murphy upset, drag. They went backwards by 20 metres, under pressure on their own line, and we are where we are.
Rawson
and this is...
looks for space, looks for turf, and what a kick that is. That's what 90-odd caps for Conn experience. Number 12.
It's what I talked about before the game, and there is the reason. And not alone that, it's a nice throw-in.
The old 50-22, eh? You spoke about it, that's what you're all about.
Well, it's when you've got that left-sided kicker, when you've got that space in behind, and again, as Tommy talked about earlier, when you've got your centre and one of your main men off the field, sent off. 2 yellow cards for James Donovan, and really it's going to be very, very difficult for Wesley, and this is going to be the theme tune, I'm sure, from Craig Ronaldson all day. Oh, great steal and a great win.
Still fighting, as you would expect from old Wesley. Well up in that line out. Get his big mitts on it. And all Ben Murphy can do this time is find a bit of a cracking touch actually into that wind, but it'll still be a nice throw with John Sutton. We may see some more replacements here for Naas. Jack Barry, he'll have to wait his moment, but he'll be coming on shortly. So Adam Coyle, a bit of words of wisdom to Sutton. And again, like they've done all day, off the top, into their number 6 in Dempsey's hands. And around the corner they come. Geez, their confidence is sky high, Naas.
Another great pass on the gain line. Oh!
Kavanagh just tried to force it a wee bit there.
No harm when you're in Wesley's 22 and they're under pressure. Again,
Malloy,
look at that. No
just
real
getting
clear
stuck
out.
in. Haven't seen anything really of Alex Malloy. He just hasn't had his hands on it really. I suppose it's such a difficult game to play in for him, Alan. Croak tries to find space. He doesn't. He finds Ruben Pym. Good feet from the number 8. Cracking player is Ruben Pym. Cut out ball. Cassie still wants his runners outside him. Just needs the ball to be a bit quicker.
Wesley are all very lateral, static, and no real movement forward. And again, it looks as if they've lost this.
They have, and there's numbers for Naas. And Kavanagh, away he goes. Big tackle. Owen Deegan, bit of aggression in that. O'Flaherty doing the hard and grunting yards. Rawson pulls it out the back. Well read. O'Callaghan. And Burns. So aggressive at that breakdown. Dempsey. Well watched by Josh Pym that time. Tollifer has 3 Wesley bodies on him. Number 10 in Croak. Dancing, but he gets stopped. Rawson has runners outside him. So right in the centre of the pitch here. Naas options both side. They use their hooker Sutton. Not sure he expected that. A slower ball for the green and whites. Rawson claps the hands, puts the kick through. Bit of pressure here. And who's got that down? I don't think anyone has. Thomas O'Callaghan, I think, fought back and did well. What are we saying here, Alan?
Gaffigan going to his touch judge. It's no try. It'll be a goal line dropout from Cassidy, but Naas playing very cleverly here for territory, deep in Wesley's 22 as they have been for the last 10 minutes. You've got to commend them for that very clever play. They've really outwitted Wesley for the large elements of this match.
Nah, you're right, they have. It's Brendan Monaghan comes on for Wesley. Changes coming for both sides. In the front row as well, Poff is off. David Poff, his afternoon's over. Osborne into the wall of Wesley defence. Cronin Gleeson tried to get his hands in, gives away the penalty. The Naas of numbers. Kavanagh has his winger outside him. The kick comes across. It's all Naas at the moment. Well covered from Josh Pym. The pressure is all on old Wesley here. They're just camped on their own line.
It's interesting, he didn't seem to take it over his own goal line there, Josh Pym. Whether it's been adjudicated or whether he felt it was knocked on, who knows, but it's a scrum 5 to Naas.
Now, I suppose the discussion comes back to, if you win the league, what should happen to you?
Well, of course, it'll be the perennial discussion, probably, in the bar of old Wesley tonight. But it does seem rather harsh that, as league champions, you could find yourself out of the big playoff, and it's certainly looking that way now. Naas have played ever so cleverly, tactically probably outwitted Wesley. They've just been able to intensify their games at different times, but the big thing they've done here is their territorial game in this half has been exquisite.
A shout out here for Tim Murphy. He's been great, scored a cracking try. His 60 minutes or so in front of his away fans gets appreciation. And Connor Halpenny will come on. Fancy boots for the replacement 9 here at Naas.
There's a lot of those around these days, the fancy boots.
Halpenny in his first pass. And Rawlinson on the short line. Naas looking to go straight through, and they do indeed. The 4th try comes, and that is curtains on.
Well, it certainly is. It's going to be a very, very long 20 minutes, it looks, for old Wesley here. They just look beaten to a pulp. And they've been outwitted, outplayed. There'll be no complaints from anyone, really, in terms of where this game has gone. Naas have been superb, to be fair. They've just upped the intensity, particularly in the beginning stages of this second half, and they're thoroughly deserving of the 35 points at this stage, but probably with Osborne kicking, likely to be 37.
So, the man who just can't miss, Peter Osborne, lines up another conversion. Just wants to add to his tally all afternoon, this guy, doesn't he?
Well, I've just had a photograph from his fiancée. She's in a very fancy bar in Singapore watching this one, and slip into another gin and tonic there, Roisin, would be my suggestion.
As Rosine watches on, Osborne lands another conversion. He just can't miss, can he?
Well, he's given an exhibition of goal kicking. He's been quite superb.
As Ben Murphy comes from the pitch, the old warrior and Charlie O'Regan will come on. Cassidy hasn't gone 10, but Naas will play it. Halpenny go out the back from Coyle. Rawlinson, like he's done all this second half. Oh my goodness. Oh, just when I thought goes right in the corner. It's just out in the full from the number 12. Must have been inches there, Alan.
Hard for me to see from this vantage point here, but Tommy O'Brien has some news for me.
I would. That's called being a good winger. Regardless whether we're in or out, the winger just pointed nose directly out, and the touch judge took his guidance.
So what you're telling me was it was in the field of play, Tom.
O'Regan with his first touch to Cassidy. The short ball. Pim round the corner. O'Regan just trying to up the ante for Wesley. One more is needed. What a tackle it is. Conroy. Wesley on the back foot. Sam Kenny is into the action. The short line. Ball for O'Regan. Naas getting their hands in there illegally so Wesley will have the advantage. O'Regan wants it. He'll go if he gets a chance. Away he goes, Charlie O'Regan. The old footing goes as well. As Cronin Gleeson does the hard yards. Tolofua told to get his hands off it. Cassidy, what a ball that is. It just doesn't find the man. I thought it was the right option, but the execution maybe just let him down.
Kind of sums up the day really for Wesley so far. An overthrow and hands on heads, and it's been a very, very difficult day, but you've got to take your hats off to Naas here so far. 15 minutes to go. They lead by 20 points, 37-17. And substitutes have rained on.
Connor Johnson for Naas. On. Goes to the front. Good start from the replacement hooker. Waits for Hal Penny to give him the pat in the back. O'Regan does superbly well. And here's Pim. Oh, away he goes. We shall see what Bryn Croak was up to there. Brian Croak, I should say. Was that part of the tackle, or was that illegal?
No, well, I think there's probably remnants of James O'Donovan's sending off there for a purposeful knock-on. Whether it's going to be looked at, it's obviously not. They're more concerned about what O'Regan may have said to the touch judge. Seems to be getting a wee bit of a ticking off. There's been a lot of ticking off today, Stuart.
There's been plenty, Al. There's been absolutely plenty. And it's not going your way, Al. It really isn't.
And it certainly isn't. Knocked on at the line out there by Pim. And it's just been unforced error after unforced error. Wesley have been very lateral for most of the day. No momentum any stage. And most of the electrifying football has been played by the visitors in green and white.
Like, it's hard to believe. I know Wesley had 14 men for 30 minutes or so, but like Naas were beaten very heavily here, you know, a month or so ago. Just shows rugby can go anyway.
Well, it's all about the day. It's about your preparation. It's about how you look at things, and that man has been instrumental. Tolofua.
He must be up there with our favourite AL player today. AL, I think I've introduced you to him.
Well, it's not often a substitute might get man of the match, but he'd certainly be a big candidate. He's been outstanding since he's come on the field.
O'Callaghan on the burst. Deegan looks wide. And away they go. Wesley still playing. Back inside to Monaghan. But just when they look to be getting good patterns of play, the wee error comes again.
Well, it's just that point of numbers, really, Stuart. To lose a player permanently with 35 minutes to go when you're playing against the elements makes life difficult, and Naas have done that expertly.
And it's taken to the second half to do it, where Ronaldson has peppered Wesley back in their own 22.
It's Alistair Hoban. We'll get 10 minutes or so. Ian McGann comes from the pitch. Disappointing day for the captain.
Yeah, it must be very difficult for him. He's been a galvanizing player in the team, and you can see the level of disappointment on his face. Understandably so. And it's interesting, in the other semi-final, Shannon are beating Highfield, Stuart, 25 points to 19. And from their 4th position, could be playing in the final.
As the juggernaut of the Naas pack rumbles on. But it's been repelled, and they're still fighting. Wesley will have the scrum in a good attacking position.
Wesley now needing 3 converted tries in the remaining 10 minutes. They might need to be saying some prayers, Stuart. They could be saving those for tomorrow.
And plenty of prayers said tomorrow. In both sides of churches, Alan.
Of course.
The scrum penalty comes to Wesley.
Not unsurprisingly, Coyle there going in on the angle.
Good kick from Paddy McKenzie. So Ben Burns pretty much got one leg out there. He's still fighting. Gnarly old hooker, isn't he? Here come Wesley. Can they get something? Back with Burns. And they're all getting involved. And they're still going. Regan telling him where he wants it. The ball's over the line. And they've got one. They need 3, but they've got one, Alan.
And they need to convert it, Stuart. If they were to do it, it would be one of the most amazing comebacks of all time. In tennis terms, they're 5-1 down in the last set.
Tell you what, it's been tries galore here, Alan, hasn't it? It's been brilliant. Tries.
Some fantastic tries indeed.
So, can they convert?
Yes,
there's still hope, Alan. There is still hope. A fine conversion. And what are we back to here?
We're back to 37. 24. So 8 minutes of the match remaining. Wesley need to score 2 converted tries to steal it.
So Rawlinson this time goes straight down the middle. He's not happy with that. McKenzie fancies a bit of a cutout ball. Deegan is well watched. Not sure about that from Naas, but we're playing on. Big tackle. Connor Doyle. Fancy showing what he's all about here. Coming off the bench and flying in. Wesley looking to go. And here he is. Here's the Dangerman. Alex Malloy. What a step that is. And he goes again. And he gets the offload away. And they're still going.
This is extraordinary.
Regan on the inside. And Regan is on the
Unbelievable.
Does he still believe? Alan, do you believe it's all happening here?
This is extraordinary. What a try. As good as you will ever see. It's been converted. It's going to be a grandstand finish. The crowd are on their feet.
Without hope, what do we have?
I talked about saying prayers. They might need prayers, Stuart McAvoy.
And what about the casual drop goal of a conversion? But a tell you what, Alex Malloy, when he gets a chance, he goes. And Charlie O'Regan on his shoulder.
Well, it's the first time he's had hands on the ball. What a magnificent try. You will not see better in any AIL fixture any time this season, or for the last 10.
Big words, but you're probably right, Alan Lewis. And what a game this is turning out to be. I have written Wesley off time and time again. And they still believe, and they get a good exit here.
Well, I was actually surprised he didn't go wide again there, Stuart.
6 points to go in this game. Naas still in front. But oh, Wesley, they have a spring in their step, Alan.
I don't think I've seen anything like this. This place was like a morgue 2 minutes ago.
14 men. You talked about digging deep from the well. They've done that massively.
You talked about going to the double well.
Tollifer, he's all about the well as he powers through. But the error comes, and Wesley sniff on it, and O'Regan just needs some composure. And they go through the heart, Wesley. O'Regan wants it. And he's just told by Thomas O'Callaghan to calm down. And we're still 5 minutes or so here.
Had to be deeper than that, Stuart, really, and you could see the disappointment.
But they still have it. There's still hope.
Absolutely. Got to keep the tempo here, old Wesley. There's been more tempo from Wesley in the last 5 minutes, Stuart, than in the whole match. A very good take there.
Like he's done time and time again. Gets it right. And they go. Mackenzie. Not sure about that ball, but it's worked. Malloy. Just like he did a couple of minutes ago. Beats the tackler. O'Regan. And they go out the back. The line from Malloy, but he doesn't get it. There's a few Naas hands in there. And what a turnover that is. Hal Penny uses big forwards. Wesley just need to hold their defensive line.
Oh,
As
that could go the whole distance, who knows?
But
It
Malloy
doesn't.
Says, I'll pick it up and I'll step. But he uses his teammate, does Alex Malloy. As O'Regan goes the short side to Deegan. The cut-out ball. Just needs to stay in play. Does so well, does JJOD. Mackenzie, nice and flat. And the big barreling prop gets it to ground. Slower ball for Wesley. Mackenzie and the step. Still there for Wesley. Stuart Gaffigan says the ball's there. O'Regan just tries to force it. Kick seems to work out. Not sure it's the right option. Still there for Charlie O'Regan. Goes to short side.
He's away!
Are steaming up the touchline and the inside ball. They're still there. Oh, Wesley, the wingers combining. David Poff and Thomas O'Callaghan. And they have the penalty.
It's
and
going
the
to be.
tide has really, really turned.
What an extraordinary finish to this match. O'Callaghan superb there. And now a kick to the corner. Is this going to be the finish? Is this going to be the finish?
Another yellow card. Naas down to 14.
Absolute commotion here. Cameras can't see very much into this corner. I've not seen anything. Everyone on their feet. It has gone wild here.
It has indeed, Alan, as you say.
2 minutes remaining.
Everyone on their feet here. What a finish. Wesley do hit their man through Ben Burns, and he's got it back as a hooker. All to play for. Keeping it tight. Or the home side. Inches closer. They're looking for runners. Straight through the heart. Pim goes. All pressure on Naas. Wesley fighting tooth and nail to get that ball back. Still there. Cries of release. Stuart Gaffigan gives the penalty, and he's going to have a word.
It looks and appears as if another Naas man's going to be going to the bin. Gaffigan has his hands in his pockets. This is extraordinary. Surely Wesley will have to opt for the scrum here. Have to opt for the scrum.
Naas down to 13, Wesley to 14. Crazy things, as you say.
They're not calling a scrum, no, they're tapping and going.
On the carry. Still there for Wesley. O'Regan. And the ball goes wide. And there's space. No! And there is the score. The try in the corner. And Wesley do still have a chance. Kick out wide. Going to be a hard task.
Well, the only thing is, to be fair to Mackenzie, since he's come on the field, he has ignited this match, and it would be fitting if he finishes in style with the conversion, because he's going to need it. We're in overtime here, as it appears to me. But it did seem extraordinary, Stuart. I'm just even thinking tactically, with all those players off the field, they had to score close to the posts.
They did indeed, but Paddy McKenzie still has a chance for Wesley to win this game.
You only have to look at the rest of the Wesley players. Look, it's like a penalty shootout in football, all with their heads down as Mackenzie prepares. Will this be the moment?
Watching Mackenzie. The strike comes. The strike is true. But it's just gone wide. And Naas have done it. Heartbreak for old Wesley. They tried so hard with 14 men, but they got to 30 minutes. But in the end, just short on, and it's Naas' day. They progress to the final.
I am absolutely shell-shocked. I don't think I've witnessed a rugby match like it in all my given time. Now, the only thing I will say, having been in the position they were, they had to look to score from that position close to the post. I was surprised they didn't take the scrum option, because they were going to tie all those Naas players in with only 13 players left on the field. What a game of rugby. Who could have even anticipated the finish we were going to have? A most extraordinary match. I don't know what to say.
You're not often speechless, Al.
Rarely.
And you haven't been today. But as you say, unbelievable from old Wesley to come back. It was dead and buried, 15 minutes to go, 3 tries. And so close. It comes down to the last kick of the game.
Well, it was just extraordinary. Extraordinary. I just don't have words. The only words that I have is that it's so easy. When the human mind is under pressure, Stuart, at times it can do silly things, and I do talk, and it'll be very interesting afterwards, will the talk be the option of the scrum by the post? Wesley didn't elect to take it. They scored wide. He was kicking into a breeze, but they will be devastated, having won this league by such a margin, and to go out by a point. And again, probably on the balance of play, when you look at and think about it, Naas probably thought they were home and dry. 2 tries in quick succession, you're back in the game. And it's going to be a Naas-Shannon final. Shannon from 4th position in this league, nowhere near the last 4, with 4 matches of this league to go. And they're now going to be competing against Naas in the final of this league. And really, the air of devastation out there today is extraordinary. Wesley lose by a point. What can you say?
Yeah, well, What a game it's been. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, I think
will have a chance next week in the final. Devastation, as we said, for old Wesley. But what a season they've had. So disappointing for them, but it'll be Naas v Shan.
Yeah,
in that
look,
final.
we wish Naas best of luck next week. I think the only thing that can be said, to quote the great Derek Trotter, is Monge 2. After a defeat like that, absolutely heartbreaking at the end. My heart goes out to all the players. You know, it was a mountain to climb and they almost got to the summit.
Well, Tommy, as Stuart McAvoy has said, I've rarely been speechless. I was speechless there for a second. What a match. A wonderful crowd. There must certainly be well over 1,000 people here today, which is testament to this league. And I just want to thank you for including me and having the fun with Stuart here. We've really enjoyed bringing the fair for the short number of games I've been involved, but I've thoroughly enjoyed it, and everyone is on their feet. What a match between these two teams, and James Donovan there disconsolate at the end, sent off with 35 minutes remaining, and you can see the tears in his eyes, and everyone really is absolutely shell-shocked. What looks like the three match officials as well, they can't believe what they've been in, but what a wonderful game of rugby.
On behalf of Old Wesley, Alan and Stuart, I'd like to thank you deeply for your commentary this season and for being with us. You've managed to wonderfully bring the games to life for those who unfortunately can't be with us during the season, so really thank you a whole lot for that, folks. Look, I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to go and have a quick coffee. We'll be back on air in 20 minutes. The link for the Fives final is on YouTube. It's on our Facebook page. It is a different link, so I'll see you all in 20 minutes while Alan and Stuart go in and get a well-deserved beer. Thanks, folks. Stay safe.